A lot to me because just like in football, being a part of the military comes with a lot of stress on the body, the soul, the mind, the spirit. And so being able to promote a service that is able to give these individuals who sacrifice so much for us a place to recharge and get well and feel better, it means a lot to me because I got a lot of family there and I understand it because I do some of the similar stuff through football.
It's important because Bozeman and Montana is just so amazing. There's so much great things to do, and to just give these families a chance to recharge and just spend some time in the outdoors and get to enjoy what they've protected, it means a lot.
They deserve all the help that they need and all the rest and recharge that they can get. So just to raise awareness so they can make their life easier is big.
I think it's super special to represent a company, a nonprofit like Big Sky Bravery and what they do, not only for the active duty members but their families as well. And if they get to enjoy the state that we love of Montana, I think it's a great way to rest and recharge, and I think just another opportunity to support something great.
This hat stands for them, our nation's active duty, SOF, and their families. Buy a hat and stand with our warriors.
Big Sky Breakdown, SkylineSportsMT.com. Tom Stuber joining us now, our resident Bobcat beat writer there for Montana State. They're coming off of a rivalry win, their 10th win in a row to sew up another Big Sky Conference Championship under Brent Vigen. This is like the calm after the storm, right? I was saying my favorite part about what we watched on Saturday, other than that it was a great football game, is that neither coach got fired and we get Thanksgiving weekend off on both sides of the rivalry. So that's a great thing. Thanks for making some time this week, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. That is a great thing. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I dread the game the closer it gets, and then like you said, once it's over, it's just like the weight of the world is off your shoulders for some reason. But I mean, it's like it's the biggest dang event in the whole year. I don't care about Christmas and New Year's Eve, and Thanksgiving. Who cares about that? But I mean, it's just nothing compares.
Nothing compares, and I think that this year too, early on, I think people realized, wow. Whatever side you follow, our team is good and the other side is good and nobody else is actually as good as us. So I think people were more anticipating this one. I'm not going to say it's the biggest game ever that they've had, but I think it was the one where people sort of identified that they were on a collision course and they couldn't wait until that weekend rolled around. I think it started like a couple games into conference play, right? Like when the Cats just destroy Eastern and the Grizzlies whip Idaho, I think everybody was kind of like, all right, I think these two teams are going to be playing for the conference championship when November rolls around.
Yeah, not only that, I the game itself was, pretty indicative of the two teams. Maybe not so much U of M, and this is what I was going to say to you about, I don't get to comment much on U of M because I'm always deep into the Bobcats, but yeah, the Grizzlies, I thought, from what I had heard about them and what I had seen is, they were this big play offense making, 60-yard gains multiple times in a game and doing all these electric things. And I was just super impressed with what Houck and his coaches did and what the team did by coming out, especially on offense, just, being methodical, being disciplined. It looked like obviously they had a game plan that, they wanted to, get these quick passes out and let's see what these receivers can do. And, and if they don't bust them, they're going to get us into third and shorts, and that last drive before the end of the half and the first one coming out in the second half, I mean, they just put on a master class of what to do to, beat the Bobcats, really. And it's kind of funny because I was telling people, that's what Mercyhurst did. And
right.
People forget all about that game now, but boy, everybody was falling apart. And I was like, well, look at what they were doing. They were just a disciplined team that knew they weren't going to get a bunch of big plays. They took the short stuff and they, would go for it on, fourth down and they kept the Bobcats from doing a lot. But those two drives, though, I just wanted to say, I just thought, and I thought, that Houck was all business. I thought the Grizzlies were all business. A lot of times they come out with, they got some decal on their helmet about the all-time series. I think it was last year. They got all the counties on there. Or they wear a different uniform or something. And I saw them come out in warm-ups, and you corrected me, sort of. But I was like, the Grizz are out in their regular home uniforms. The Cats are out there, and they're just plain white roadies, and it's, it's all business here. And you were like, well, don't be surprised if the Grizz come out in copper and gold. and everybody else started saying that too. And
Right.
when they came out in the maroon and silver, I was like, uh-huh. I mean,
Right.
these guys are serious. This is,
Totally.
we're not messing around today. And they played like it. And, and it was a really good game. And I mean, it just a couple plays, in games like this, that's what it comes down to. Everybody talks about the stats and that stuff's important too. And I really like to see a team with a good offense, a good defense, a team that, statistically plays well game in and game out. But when you get in a game like this, the pick six and the blocked field goal, negated everything that the Grizzlies had done to really, set themselves up for a win. And, when that blocked or when that pick six happened, that drive before, the Grizzlies had just went ahead and they didn't get a 3-and-out, but they only allowed 1 first down.
Right.
And the next thing you know, the Bobcats are punting. They got the ball back. It's 3rd and short again. And I'm just like totally expecting another first down, and, it did a 180 right there. But I just wanted to let that be known that I really thought the Grizzlies played well and it was a really good game.
It was a really good game, man. I thought both sides well prepared, both sides executing. I appreciate what you said too about the hype, because I had like sort of projected and thought they were going to for sure wear throwbacks. But then I gave pause to that because on Monday, Bobby Howe gave such a short press conference, and he was not trying to play into crafting any storyline. And some people think that that's just him being a dick or whatever. But I actually I sort of respect it, like when I ask him, like, what do you think of the Bobcat defensive line? He's like, big and strong and physical, short and sweet, to the point. That's what it was. But it's because he knew where the advantages and disadvantages his team had, and he didn't want to like play those up one way or the other. But I heard that internally, some of the players said, "Hey, coach, let's turn this thing on its head. Let's get the crowd hyped. Let's wear the throwbacks." And he said, "No, we're not doing that. We got to be strictly buttoned down, strictly all the business." So I think that was definitely a huge factor going into the game.
Well, it doesn't happen often, but I guess me and Bobby Houck were in lockstep with each other all week. But I picked up on the same thing though on that same interview, and I think I commented to you. We got, and it isn't too out of the norm, but we got about 10 minutes. Bobby Houck and 2 players, and then the Bobcats are out. They come in and do their Monday thing, and that's 45 minutes, an hour, and then during the week. They're doing, one-on-one interviews. You got coaches on your radio show. I mean, the Bobcats must have had 5 hours worth of, podcast and TV stuff out there. And the Grizzlies gave you, 10, 15 minutes.
Totally true.
1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with. Well seasoned through the test of time. As the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Breakdown proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective has partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
Shine Beer Sanctuary is leading the charge when it comes to promoting beer culture in Montana. Located at the corner of Church and Main and downtown Bozeman, the locally owned and operated tap house and bottle shop has the best beer selection in the Treasure State. The bar has 32 rotating beers on tap with everything from Duvel to local ciders, gluten-free beers, and non-alcoholic options. The bottle shop has more than 400 beer offerings from all over the world, and Shine offers Cicerone-trained beer guides. Come enjoy beer heaven at Shine Beer Sanctuary in Bozeman.
But in terms of like the way the back and forth in the chess match went, I thought it was really interesting because you mentioned the Grizz attacking the horizontal parts of the field. And on one hand, that's a little bit of what the Bobcats defensive scheme gives you, but also that's where I think the Grizz thought they could make money, because I think they thought they couldn't really make money up the middle running the ball. I also think they were trying to set some stuff up, and that's why I think that Caden Dowler play will go down is one of the greatest plays in the history of the rivalry. Because if you watch that, Michael Wortham, everything the Grizz have been doing up to that point, they did it to set up Wortham to go in motion to get Cole Taylor in a man-to-man. And Cole Taylor was right there. And Dowler said it in the postgame. He said, hey, I realized that we had aligned wrong and they were going to get us. So he said, I cheated as much as I possibly could over this way because I knew as soon as they saw Wortham in man with Cole Taylor that that's where they were going to go. And he said, and then it happened, and it was right place, right time. How did this happen to me again? But he did mention, like, hey, I cheated there, and it was a risk that I was taking, but they got us on that one until they didn't get it. And I mean, that was as massive of a momentum swing as you could have in a rivalry game that we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I can't think of a play in a Cat Grizz game that swung the momentum as much as that one did. I mean, Grant Collins forced that fumble, in 2018, and the Cats went in and went ahead, but the Cats were coming back all the time. It wasn't like that play swung it so much as this one did. I mean, you're right. Yeah, it's going to go down in history for sure. Another thing I was thinking about too was you had asked me the last time I was on, you kind of brought up, well, the Cats haven't been in very many close games, this year, and which is true. And while the Grizzlies have, and so what if it comes down to a close game? And, I think, the difference between what the Cats have seen and what the Grizz have seen is, when the Cats have been in close games, it's been against teams like South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and then South Dakota State again, and then North Dakota State again. I mean, the last 4 times the Bobcats played those two schools, 4 points is the most that separated them. So, or I guess 6 in overtime, but they went overtime, which is really a tie. So they lost by 4 out there, lost by 1 at home, lost by 3 in the championship game. But I think the Bobcats, just having been in tight games with good teams, I think that's kind of what, helped them on Saturday is that, the Grizzlies are good. Not only we're in a tight game, we're in a tight game with a good team, but we've seen this before. We've done this before. And whereas the Grizzlies have had, some tight games too, but it's been, Eastern Washington where they let them kind of get back into the game and stuff like that. It wasn't the same kind of an opponent. And the other thing, I noticed too that, the Bobcats, when they got tested in that game, and that's the story I wrote about the game, is they responded, or it was your idea, but that's the story that we came up with and went into more detail on. But the Cats, answered the bell over and over in that game. And I mean, that's what good teams do. That's, the old LA Lakers in playing the Boston Celtics or whatever. It was, one of those deals where, big time plays by, big time teams or whatever is it's hard to get to that point. And I think the Bobcats have, really passed a big test there because, mentioning North Dakota State, South Dakota State, that's the problem they've had. They just can't get over that hump in that big game and be the one that makes those plays at the right time.
And you have to wonder just how much of just a thrust of confidence, and as well as just a vindicating moment it was for Vegan to go for it on the 4th and 1 on their final possession. And they ran the same play with the same, I guess not the same running back, but the same play as they did in the national championship game when they got stuffed, when they were mounting their comeback. It was the same play with the same running back against South Dakota State, and they got stuffed both times, but then they got it to seal the game in Missoula. I just think that's one of those moments where you'll point to that someday and be like, man, that was one of the times where they did it and they made the play and it got them over the top in that game, but also as a football program, because now they have the monkey of Missoula off their backs, and they take so much confidence. If you can win that game in Missoula and against that team, like why can't you just say, well, let's go win it all, boys? Like let's just keep this thing rolling. So I just think that one play is so symbolic to like sort of the incremental progress they've made.
Right, and that's that's who MSU wants to be. That's who they've been for the last 10 years, is this team that can run it down your throat. And they want to, they don't, that it's a shock to their system when they can't make that play, and they haven't made that play, as you pointed out, and to be able to, come through with it in a game like that, where, frankly, no matter what, it's just a bigger game than when they play North Dakota State or South Dakota State. It's Cat Grizz, it's in Missoula, the game is on the line, and they make the play there. It's it's like you said, it's a slingshot for them to go forward with.
Zach Cruz's blocked field goal, Caden Deller's pick six are the two ones that are going to, that's the best part about this rivalry is we're going to always talk about the history. It's just, you're like writing a new chapter to the history each time that you write something about it or you think about it. But I think the overall performance of Justin Lamson is something that's going to continue to gain legend, as it goes. I mean, you asked Brett Beacon, he said, Coach, this was one of the most efficient, best performances in the history of the rivalry. And he had not compartmentalized Lamson's stats. And he looked down, he's like, wow. Yeah, 18 of 20 and rushed for 100 yards. Wow. That was a great moment in the post-game presser. But this is a game that's going to, right now, is already entrenched in the lore of the rivalry. But as time goes on, people are going to be doing you remember Justin Lamson in Missoula in 2025?
Right. And not only his numbers, and probably why he didn't, have any idea about those numbers is because Lamson's poise was so incredible.
Totally.
I mean, everybody, talked about it all week, and we do this every year. If there's a quarterback that hasn't started a Cat Grizz game yet, everybody's talking about, can that quarterback handle the pressure? No matter how many times they have handled it, we still bring it up. I mean, you had Denarius McGee's first game was 2012. Travis Lulay's first game was 2002, broke the streak. Chris Murray's first game, he was like barely 18 in Missoula. He won, but yeah, you can't avoid it. You can't not bring it up. But again, Lamson just brought another level of, success, I guess, to his resume by just showing how calm he can be in an atmosphere like that.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
And support a Grizz athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma. And it's crafted with Grizz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up with Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing.
Thinking about selling your home in Missoula? Here's the truth. Buyers are still out there, but they're being picky. That means how you market your home matters more than ever. I'm Ty Hobbs with Hobbs Homes at Keller Williams, and my job is to make sure your listing stands out. From strategic pricing to professional marketing, stunning photography, and targeted advertising, I'll position your home to attract the right buyers and get you the best price possible. In today's market, it's not just about putting a sign in the yard, it's about telling your home story, creating urgency, and negotiating every dollar in your favor. If you've been on the fence about selling, now's the time to talk strategy. Let's see what your home could sell for and how we can make it.
Montana State wins the coin toss. They choose to receive. Then they have a pretty formidable drive all the way down the field. But then when they get in the red zone, Lamson gets his head ripped off twice. I mean, those weren't just sacks. Those were high, low, over, under, multiple guys hitting him. One of them, his helmet almost came off.
Tone setters.
I looked at Tuta. I said, "Rutrow, welcome to the rivalry. Lamson, can you buckle back down?" But that was, I thought, the key moment in the game is they settle for a field goal. The Grizz march down. They have an explosive touchdown, and you're thinking, okay, this place is getting ready to pop. Not so fast. Lamson engineers his own touchdown drive, and that was the first of many, back and forth swings in the momentum. So I thought there was a moment where Lamson had a chance to lose it, and he didn't lose it. He responded in fine fashion. And what a testament to him, man. I mean, there's a lot of things you can say about all the different great quarterbacks that Montana State's had, but he's among the toughest and most poised they've ever had already in his first season there.
Yeah. Oh, and the other one was on that final drive, he got sacked on first down and threw him into a 2nd and 14, and he didn't try to get it all back at once. They got it into that 4th and 1, the play you were talking about a minute ago. And, but again, yeah, that's just a real calm, cool character there. And tough as nails on top of it. So
the blocked field goal, though, I mean, first of all, what a great job by our photography team and our videography team. The video and the picture of that they're all time. They're all time great. I actually want to call Mike Hope and say, hey, I'll give you this Zach Cruz picture. hang it in the R bar. Like let's hang this sucker right up here. You can have it. Let's go. But the symbolism of the moment, though, too, right? For the and you don't need to go down the rabbit hole of Zach Cruz. Everybody has their opinion on it. You can have whatever opinion you want. I think either side of the opinion is valid. If you don't know what we're talking about, you can easily Google it and find out all that stuff. But just the symbolism of that moment, a kid from Missoula making that play, it's such a entry point to the rivalry right now, and the way that Montana State has been able to earn the upper hand in it after not having the upper hand in it for so long.
Yeah, and yeah, Mike Hope would love to have that. I think Zach Cruz is probably his favorite player. He brings him up every time I see him. But anyway, yeah, no, it was just so symbolic or whatever, and just so so like 1970s Oakland Raiders
right.
It was just like Zach Cruz. I love it. Yeah, I think he's had some work done, but I just loved seeing him after games when he was missing that tooth. I was just like, there's Ted Hendricks. There was a dude named Ted Hendricks.
I love that you brought that up. He is the stork. He really is. He is the stork of the Big Sky, man.
Yep. I mean, and he is. He's 6'4", and he got up on that thing, that block. He didn't get it with his hand. He got it with his forearm or his elbow. I mean, he was just up in the air, and yeah, it was just an incredible play. That was I'm looking forward to the videos and stuff that Skyline puts out and watching that play again.
What else did you like about this game before we get you out of there? What else just really stood out to you just about the back and forth that commenced?
I just, the hitting was incredible.
Both sides, so many.
Yeah, both sides. Right. Yeah. And a couple guys did get hurt, unfortunately, but I mean, for the most part, if you, the level of the hitting and the amount of injuries, came out pretty good. I mean, the hit that Wortham took from Kuhn was a big one. Province got clotheslined early in the game, going across the middle. And Lamson just took some hellacious shots. I think number 10, Roush, hit him on one play. The play where he faked it to Dowler, and I think the linebacker, everybody went after Dowler, and then Lamson ran it for a first down. It was on that last drive, but he just got drilled by Roush on one play. I remember Gregorak was talking about it when I watched it on TV. But, yeah, I mean, just the hitting and the intensity was just off the charts.
What does Montana State want to play Montana again, or do they not want to play Montana again? Do they hope for a rematch? I know the answer for the Grizzlies for sure. I mean, the only thing TJ Roush said in the press, TJ Roush I felt so bad for him, man. I mean, he's from Missoula. He's played in this thing for 5 years, and he's sitting up there and he's like, somebody asked the question, he goes, we certainly want to play them again. That was the only thing he said in the whole press conference. But you could just see it in his eyes, like he wants it again. So the Grizzlies want a rematch. If you're the Cats, do they want a rematch?
I can't see how you cannot want to have a rematch. I mean, deep down, because it isn't going to come around and happen again. I mean, it's taken this long for these two teams to play each other in a playoff game, let alone a semifinal to get to the championship. I mean, the Cats, I guess, they probably don't want it as bad as the Grizzlies, but the one thing the Cats have this time that they didn't have that time is playing at home. So,
totally.
So that might push them up to the level that the Grizz are at. But yeah, if you're the Grizzlies, you got to be damn right we want a rematch. So,
what do you think of the draw? But Montana's probably going to get South Dakota State, which I think is probably haunting their minds. Certainly, SDSU has had their midseason slide, but they got back on the right track to get a win to get into the playoffs. But this is the third year in a row Montana's played South Dakota State national championship, and then last year they played them in the playoffs, and they might be coming to Missoula. So interesting draw there. Also interesting draw for the Cats with Youngstown State. But what did you just think of the draws that both these teams got coming in the second round?
Very, very, very interesting, especially the South Dakota State at Montana game. I think the Grizz win if Chase Mason doesn't play. I think it's a whole different ball game if Mason plays. And Mason was 50-50 to go last week, and they're going to decide tomorrow on him for this first game. So, but the coaches said he just didn't practice enough last week for him to go. So you got to have a feeling. I think it's turf toe. And I got a feeling it must, he must be getting close to being 100%. So we'll see. But yeah, that's just swings the whole pendulum right there. If it's not Mason, I'd really like the Grizz chances to beat South Dakota State. And then on the Bobcat side, that quarterback for Youngstown is just so off the charts, and I mean, they've seen Pinnock, they saw Mason, they saw Dante Moore, but this guy's, right there, if not better than a couple of those guys. So that's a real challenge for the Cats, and I don't see it going any other way. I think, doesn't South Dakota State play Harvard?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, and Youngstown plays Yale, and there's.
Oh, right. Now South Dakota State plays New Hampshire, right? And
okay.
yeah, but still, I mean, I can't imagine New Hampshire is going to go to Brookings and win.
Right. So yeah, but those are great games. What a way to start out. I mean, usually, I think the Grizzlies had Tennessee Tech and
Tennessee State, yeah, and the Cats have had some of these other
Tennessee Martin
and yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to have a little bit more name brand, and they're out of the Missouri Valley. First games against a Missouri Valley team. So yeah, that kind of amps up the intensity a little bit.
You can find all his fine writing, SkylineSportsMT.com, and we'll be catching up with him probably one more time before the next playoff game rolls around. But Tom Stuber here on the Big Sky Breakdown. Good to see you, buddy. Good luck at the dentist, and we'll catch up with you soon.
It's the windshield repairman.
Oh, good. I thought no dentist. Yeah. That's good. I was feeling bad for you already. So, windshield repairman is much better than the dentist.
No doubt. All right, man. Take care.